Okay, so today we are going to take a look into something called producer-consumer pattern. Let me write this down, producer-consumer pattern. And it is extremely important in backend development, especially. And it's something that today we are going to learn with threads. And so producer-consumer pattern can facilitate exchange of information between two different threads within the same process, but again is something very general. So it can also exist between different processes on the same machine and within the same application, or maybe between different applications. So there could be an exchange of information between two different applications on the same machine through producer-consumer pattern and through some shared buffer. Usually it's called queue, but doesn't necessarily need to be a queue. And it can also facilitate the exchange of information between different machines, even between different machines on the same network, different networks within the same cloud, different clouds. So it's something very, very general, as many different things when it comes to concurrent and parallel programming. You first start learning about that concept on the level of threads, which is like the lowest level of this concurrency that you can achieve usually. And then it turns out that there is also some kind of analogous thing, maybe even it's called the same, on each of the other levels. So in processes, in maybe even between the containers on the same machine, then between different networks in cloud and so on. So this is definitely something which exists on all of those stages, and the basic idea is always the same. So we have producers, can be one or many. Produce, they create something. So producer sends the data to a shared buffer. And this shared buffer, of course, has to be bulletproof. So it cannot, for example, if we have multiple producers, create some kind of conflicts or errors because two of them try to send something at the same time. In our case, will use producers and consumers that will be separate threads, and we will use a queue from Python queue, so standard Python queue, which is thread safe. So two threads can at the same time write to this queue, and it handles all the synchronization internally. So it has to implement some kind of synchronization. And then consumers independently, again, can be one or many, depending on the scenario. Maybe there is a single producer and 10 consumers. Maybe other way around. Usually it's this way around. So we usually want to put some data or some signal or some event on the queue to be able to process it later. To stop the blocking behavior of some processing, and we want to progress further in the processing, but we do not want to lose the data, which is, for example, take lots of time to process. Then I put a signal, I put an event, or maybe even all of the data on the queue, and it will be processed asynchronously by the consumers later. So this is the main idea here. Consumers receive the data and do some processing on it, and they also usually have to acknowledge that they received the data. So if one of the consumers fails to process the data, we are not losing it, or we do not want to lose it if there are some errors on a single consumer. And of course there are all kinds of strategies which you can implement, but the basic idea here that I want to convey is that usually this queue or the shared buffer should have some way for us to say that this message was processed, and we acknowledge, not only just throw the message out and then forget about this. No, it waits for us inside the consumer to actually acknowledge that we really did the processing. And so then does the or acknowledges. So basically that's the idea here, and can be used, for example, to propagate events, to offload backend systems. For example, I have an API that is receiving the requests for, let's say, some online business, and those requests need to be processed. But maybe I receive suddenly a big spike of those requests, and the processing of each request takes much more time than only receiving and acknowledging that we received them. What can I do? Well, in this kind of scenario, I could, for example, stop receiving, and block the next messages from being received, or I could put the messages on the queue, and wait till the resources become available again, and then process through the consumers. So this is one of the very common cases of using producer-consumer pattern. Of course, in this case, probably it won't be on the level of threads. It will be on some upper level, but it's still the same pattern, the same idea. It could also be used to load balance. So, for example, I have 3 backend APIs, and I suddenly receive 4 messages or 4 requests. And then I use the 3 that are available, and the last one is on the queue. And the first one that will be available again will receive the one that was waiting in the queue. So it's also possible to load balance and many other applications. So one of the most common patterns in backend systems. And now let's create a simple example of this producer-consumer pattern. Of course, this is a pattern. So what I will create here does not mean that you can copy-paste it to some live system and use it the way we will create it today. It's just for us to understand like the basic idea and how things work. And then for each system, you have to use something which is appropriate in this scenario. And of course, like in real backend systems, you probably very rarely will use producer consumer on a thread level. Usually it will be even between the services. So you will use some dedicated system for that, like a Kafka or RabbitMQ. And this also implements this pattern and is also a queue. And but of course, like much more advanced than what we will have here. So now let me create 2 functions. One of them will simulate the work of a producer, and the other one the work of the consumer. So producer, say producer task, we will receive producer ID and the buffer. And for we can also receive n. How many messages do we want to send? So for underscore in range n, we send this not the same, but some message, a different message n times. And what will be our message? What will be the data, the item that we will send? Well, we could think about something more complex, but since it's just a demo, then we just want to have something as simple as possible. And always the simplest thing is just some random number that we can send to the buffer. So random, and here could be rand int between 0 and 100. That's the buffer that we want to send. That's the item that we want to send to the buffer. Buffer put item. So we can print after this. Print, or before this, producer ID, produced message, and this will be the item. That's it. And once it's done, we can print producer done sending. Okay. So that's the producer task. And then we will have the consumer task. Also need the buffer. We will take the data from the buffer. We will take the consumer ID. And that's pretty much it. And we don't need to know, or we shouldn't know, how many messages to expect. We will take the messages directly from the buffer, yeah? And as many as there are on the buffer. So while true, we are waiting for buffer get to return something. And if item is none, we will send the last message by placing none on the list. And then we know that there are no more messages on the buffer, and we can simply return. And before that, we can print consumer ID done consuming. And in normal case, we'll just print that we have received the message and done some processing on it. Consumer received a message. And that's pretty much it here in the consumer. We can also add some sleep here. So time sleep, to not make it like execute everything immediately, for us to see what will happen as producers and consumers are exchanging the information between each other. We can sleep here in the producer random sleep, time sleep random uniform between 10th of a second and maybe half of a second, like this. And now we can create main. Inside main, we create our queue that we import from here. And by the way, we also can acknowledge that we received the message. Yeah? So queue task done. Sorry, not queue, but it's called a buffer here. Okay. And now I can have a number of producers set to, let's say, 2. And the number of consumers set to 3. And by the way, we can also sleep here. Yeah, to simulate some work. That it takes lots of work. And maybe here we'll sleep a little bit longer. To like between 10th and 1 second. And here we can even sleep less. Okay, so now let's create the producers. Those will be threads, of course. And did we import threads at the top? Yeah, we have thread. So thread target will be producer task. And args will be what? Queue. Producer ID and M. My producer ID will be I, and N will be 10, let's say, for I in range. What number of producers? The same for consumers. And consumer task. And we didn't have N here. Okay. So consumers. Let's start the producers for producer in producers. Producer start. And start the consumers. Same for consumer. In consumers start. And then we can wait for the producers to be done with their work. And after that, we can send none messages to each of the consumers to notify them that there's no more data to be expected. So for producer and producer join. Then for consumer and consumers, we will do the following: queue, put none. Okay. And then we can join the consumers. And we can print everyone has finished their task. Okay. Now let's create if name equals main and call the main function to start everything. Let's see how it goes. Line 38. Let's see. I just put all this, then I want tab, and same here. Here you can see that everyone has finished their task. So let's go up. Consumer producer has produced the message. Different producer has produced different message. Went down. Yeah, the first message was 2 and the second message was 59. And those were also the first messages received by the consumers. And then producer 1 produced message 15, and this was consumed by consumer 2. And that was the idea. So everyone received all the message. Then the producers were done sending. There were still messages on the queue. So for some time, only consumers were receiving the messages. And then they were all done consuming. Everyone has joined and everyone has finished their task. Yeah, so that's the basic idea that's the basic idea behind producer-consumer pattern. Very important pattern for distributed systems, backend engineering, and programming in general. But especially for backend engineering, is like hello world of backend, maybe like advanced hello world. Yeah, probably the hello world would be like receive a request, an HTTP request, and do something with it. But this is also still very, very important and fundamental.